Sorry, they're green. But but at this point, right, the side of Evil, they understand that one of the main core engagement is going to be the Tsunami Slam.
Okay, look, this is also very interesting, right? Now as a clear, do you slam the Gavakacha? Do you slam the gear on the Lapu Lapu? But I would say Ignite Gaming this time around, they do have that benefit to basically slam these two heroes, right? Because you've got a carry in tow, you've got a Gord that also do quite an amount of true damage against tanks as well. They're known to shred tanks very well.
Yep. So this is a question of who is going to pop their ultimate first. Would it be the Mystic Gush first, or would it be the AOG first? So aside from that, once we kind of take away that equation, we kind of understand who is going to be the next other 3 players that is going to put a lot of threat. Whichever team that have like a lot more threat in the early stages of that fight would naturally be forced to out first in response to what they are receiving.
Yeah, but level 4, first turtle in Ignite Gaming is really scary, by the way. Right, you've got Consecration, and if you not only just the fact that Diablo can absorb so much HP, so much of the damage coming outside Team Evil. Team Evil, on the other hand, look at the 4 of the players during the first team fight, turtle fights, right? Gear, Aezu, Bladee, and Powerful. These are not known to do a lot of damage and shred against Diablo, right?
And not only that, actually, now that I think about it, right, for Ignite, they kind of need to go all in the moment they kind of go for a catch. Definitely. So the moment that Gore actually managed to land the ball, then he will be content with going straight up for Mystic Gush, even if he have to eat that AOG. Because if he don't Mystic Gush, we don't even know when the next moment might be.
Yep. Diablo taking a lot of punishment. He doesn't have level 4 though. Slowly ticking away, waiting for that, but Kelvin's in position right now. You don't burst down Aezu right there.
You can't burst him down, but at least it's a bit of pokes that you can expect to see.
Yep.
But Uranus versus a Lapu Lapu, you can more or less expect that the Diablo playing as a Uranus is going to be a pain in the rear.
I'm not liking the positioning from the side of Team Evil. I'm trying. Feels like Ignite Gaming has the better position.
And they're just going to be jumping straight in. As you can see, Powerful currently is just going to be attacked by Jay as much as possible. But the rest of the members coming in from Evil, they find themselves running backwards. With Diablo picks up a kill down over the side of Bladee, and now 1v1 is literally trying to survive throughout the entire occasion for the side of that the Kalia.
Man, this is exactly what I was talking about, right? I'm sorry I had to cut you earlier just now because that first turtle fight is definitely not going to go over to Team Evil. Ignite Gaming clearly has a lot more damage numbers. Yes, Evil has the tank, but you know, if you are not able to burst down the turtle and also do the damage, and of course Gear, you know, lagging slightly behind at level 4 earlier just now, well, level 3 just now, he's not going to be able to be there during the team fights, and then I think right now Team Evil was relying on Gear at the first turtle. He's not there. Diablo was able to pick up 2 kills. He's level 6 all of a sudden, and that Lapu Lapu is immediately, that threat was neutralized.
This gap window that Ignite managed to get themselves will definitely allow them to play a very aggressive game from this point onwards. As Kelvin managed to pick up the Hunter Strike for himself, and not to forget, we have 2 kills going over the side of Diablo, putting himself at level 6. So he's far ahead from Gear just now, when Gear was only at level 4. He can just literally go into the opponent's jungle and be a nuisance over to Aezu.
Yeah, I think Ignite Gaming, I am expecting that. All of a sudden, bottom half of the map doesn't belong to Team Evil anymore, right? If you notice, even Kelvin is starting to encroach that one. They're looking at at Gear, because once you neutralize Gear, all of a sudden you don't have the big game house spike that Team Evil have, and then all of a sudden your whole roster just crumble, and then after that they have to wait all the way another couple of minutes, and hopefully Ben gets a good game. That's why we notice Powerful sticking mostly to the top.
Yep. Very good point about the mid-game power spike, where Gear is probably the only one that is able to kind of keep the team afloat, and in order to keep the entire team in a very respectable spot in the mid stages. Early game will be pretty okay, solely because of the fact that they have a Valentina as well as the Archive, but the skill doesn't really go too crazy without the help of a Lapu Lapu.
Oh, nice rotation coming off from Team Evil though. Ignite Gaming focusing a little bit too much on Gear down the bot lane, allowing Team Evil to secure that turtle. I think it was Team Evil, you know, that was lucky that the turtle is all the way up top, allowing, you know, Ven to help in with the turtle takedown.
We do have Nolan admit himself down to the bottom lane at home. He should be able to do quite a number from that point on and try to take down the turret ASAP. But unfortunately, wasn't able to do quite much. Diablo proxying in between the lanes. He did manage to get a little bit of information that at least we saw Gear and Aezu down at the bottom.
It's just Ignite Gaming trying to limit Gear as much as possible, right? And this is how they're going to do it. They break open bot lane, and all of a sudden Gear has to play a little bit safer. And then all of a sudden you gain access. Oh, top side.
Mr. Gush coming from Roy, but it doesn't seem to be too much of a problem. As there we go. The title strike plus, of course, Tsunami Slam. Allow them to be able to get a kill down on the Venn, which is very big and very important. Powerful, the one that is going to be stuck in between of the three. Have no choice but to fight it out to his death.
Yeah, Ignite Gaming found the secret to the magic of Team Evil in game number 3, right? Now they found that, oh, as long as I limit Venn up top, I push Gear away, and all of a sudden, Team Evil's team fight magic is gone. They've lost a lot of momentum.
It looks like Ignite, they are very much used to having Kelvin as an assassin, as they are working on a very good pace right now. Bringing down the top lane T1 and the bottom lane T1, they will naturally be gravitating over to the middle lane a little bit more and trying to force Evil away from a defensive position for the middle lane.
Yeah, and this is Ignite Gaming, right? And this is like what I mentioned earlier just now before we go into game. This is a draft that I'm saying, yep, I agree with this draft. Yep. This draft looks scary. Nolan, albeit looking like a bit more like a Band-Aid, but this Band-Aid was able to stem the bleeding.
However, the Nolan does definitely comes into play pretty well because we wanted someone in the early stages of the game that can make full use of the Tsunami Slam. And he does have a very strong way of rotating fast enough, and in fact definitely faster than the Akai in both occasions. So putting him above the opponents is always gonna be good.
Ben doesn't have to purify, only a couple of seconds away, and all of a sudden normal damage coming off of Team Evil. Ignite Gaming leading the charge.
As now Jayv puts himself right in the face of Aezu, pushes him back a little bit. We do not have Kelvin that is going to be jumping into the opponent's just yet. They want to focus onto the turtle a little bit more. As Aezu pops in with the Hurricane Dance, or rather the heavy spin right now, just pushing the rest but wasn't able to get a steal.
That was a good idea coming off from Aezu, but Ignite Gaming so far ahead. And look at Diablo just keeping Gear in check. Gear is not built out to deal with that Uranus, but
immediately, Venn gets popped out immediately without even while he's still blinking right now. Blade manages to get himself running away for a tap a little bit, but Diablo looks for different avenues to try to be able to score himself in between of Evil.
And if you notice, Diablo also do a lot of damage earlier just now, right? He was able to just keep Gear super busy down bot, and all of a sudden Gear doesn't really have... It's not that very scary Lapu Lapu anymore, right? The mid-game power spike for Gear is already gone.
Yep.
Now Evil has no choice but to play all the way to what, 15 minutes?
Yep, not really the fact that it is gone for the side of Gear, but it's more the fact that he haven't really quite met the conditions as of yet. The moment that he managed to meet the conditions for his quote-unquote mid-game power spike, at that point in time, Ignite is already way above of that spike, and they're not particularly too afraid of that power spike from the side of Gear.
That 2 kills given over to Diablo in the early game, I think
meant a lot.
Team Evil, man.
Yes.
You can see how Diablo and his Uranus, once on full stacks, one auto attack, it does a lot of damage. And now with Dom Eyes and the Oracle, he can literally heal and has so much tankiness against Team Evil, right? Now we have to take a look at Venn. Venn lost 3 lives already. Oh, yep.
Diablo, I don't think he's gonna die right now, but they're actually putting a lot. He did manage to get himself running away with a quick little flick of Blast Consecration. And he heals all the way back up. While Evil, they don't have a lot of things to work with anymore. And such a simple Tsunami Slam down on the powerful will be putting him in the top spot. All 5 members from Southern Evil, they're just gonna be hunkering down underneath of the T2 turret. But Ignite, they don't have a way to capitalize on that.
But I think that's good damage coming off the side of Ignite Gaming, right? You can see Team Evil for a period of time is just hunkering right underneath the turret. They're not too sure what to do. And that's why Roy just lands down quite a bit of damage, quite a little poke over the side of Team Evil to keep them humble.
With the Lord now currently available in the northern area of the map, the Land of Dawn will now submit the Lord over to the hands of Ignite, fighting for their cause and ready to pillage everything that Evil holds.
CS picks up the Demon Hunter's sword already. That should be the last attack Trinity item that a carry needs. Team Evil on the other side, Venn is still struggling for the second item. Kelvin even already picked up a BOD, so those damage, those bursts is gonna look very scary. He's already level 15 as well.
I'm afraid that Evil can no longer bide their time for the moment in time for Venn to eventually pop off, because you can see he's having a little bit of trouble. In the meantime, the place to do it is going to be popped right out. Like Gear managing just bringing a kill down over the side of Kelvin, while of course a little bit more of the Tsunami Slam allows them to kind of pick up Gear, but ultimately it is not a good trade in favor. It's not a good trade for Ignite. The Lord did crash down the top lane, but Venn will take that down really quickly.
Nice defense coming up from Team Evil right there. We'll be able to catch on Kelvin. That shutdown goal should be a consolation prize, and that's the consolation prize that Team Evil definitely needed.
Jay looks for an opportunity, but unfortunately not gonna force the issue. 110 seconds until the Lord eventually spawns in the southern corner of the map, and Ignite Gaming now it is their turn to bide their time and wait until the right time, because honestly at this point in time, Evil, they could literally implode with the wrong rumble.
Yeah. In that gaming though, I think that was a little bit too hasty from the side of Kelvin to make that mistake. Don't forget there's quite a few CCs that he has to look out for. The heavy spin, when he gets caught against a wall, he couldn't do anything at all, right? He's gonna get stun locked, they can easily pop him. Don't forget Nolan relies on his mobility, but he is still a glass cannon.
Diablo doing what he can do the best, and that is to be the annoyance that the team needs. He is able to just whip himself right in the middle of the team fight and just kind of get back out. And that is why he can deal a lot of damage without suffering much casualty or suffering much at all, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, but Diablo is just being bait, right? While the rest of the members from side Team Evil focuses on Diablo, Ignite Gaming, on the other hand, you know, they can reposition around, hope to form a bit of a concave around Team Evil. I don't really like how Team Evil is clutching together, huddling like that, because a Tsunami Slam, even a knockup, is going to cause a lot of problems.
But I don't think that is going to be that big
or
a deal.
Mystic Gush.
Yeah, mostly it comes down to the Mystic Gush, but it's really tough for Ignite to actually land that consistently, or rather even in that one in time. They don't really quite have the vision, they don't really quite have the information.
Yeah, but it takes one stray bomb from Roy. Everybody is that bush, and I just let down the laser.
One out of the 100%
You never know. You never know. Roy could just land down bombs all across this bush to open up map. Caesar suddenly spots 3 people. I just land down the Mystic Gush. It makes it so easy.
That would have been godlike.
That would be scary if that happened, my
man. And right now, you can pretty much see the rest of the members from the side of Ignite, they're just going to be tackling down onto the Lord, while Diablo keeps the rest of the members from Evil in check, keeping them right to where they belong.
One man zones 5 man.
One man zone 5 man.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. That is what you can expect.
That's
the other
devilish.
Piranhas.
That's devilish.
Devilish. Handsome devil.
Yeah. Look at that. It's just like, right now, it's just Ignite Gaming. Yeah, he's just gonna heal all the way back up. Venn. Okay, Venn does damage. He has to back off.
Yeah.
You see Venn, he has to back off.
Yeah, but regardless, should be fine. As the Lord now moves up to the top lane, pretty much will be able to look for something to plunder out of Evil, even though they are currently like 9,000 gold ahead of Evil. Not much to plunder if you ask me. But Jay, oh, he flickers on downwards. The title strike, I don't think that he actually managed to land on anyone. He still have got a Tsunami Slam for himself. Jay doesn't have a lot of HP, as such he will go down. As such, here picks up the kill. But the main thing that we gotta have to look out for is the middle lane and the top lane inhibitor turret that did went down. Ignite, after losing Jay, they no longer have their initiation potential, as such they know that they're gonna have to dip right out.
Yeah, the very least Ignite Gaming was able to take down 2 lanes right here. Roy was land down the bomb just a little bit, was almost able to land down the Mystic Gush, but now Team Evil has to work with 2 open lanes.
Bottom lane, inhibitor is now gonna be under siege. Diablo doing what he can to kind of buy a little bit of time. Look at the Mystic Gush, the amount of damage that could deal on the Venn. But Powerful was looking for an opportunity. Unfortunately, the AOG did not land on anywhere. And such a position, it's gonna be bad. Kelvin picks that up, and now they're just gonna be moving themselves right in the face of Evil as much as possible. Ignite
Gaming is a few more steps to basically send that mid lane minute to crash against a core. Without Blade, without Powerful, they need to try to hold.
It's a 5v3 right now. Aezu puts himself right in the middle and just gonna be pushing and ensure that everyone, the members from Southern Ignite, will not be able to do anything. But unfortunately, that's gonna be the Tsunami Slam that we need to see. Venn almost gets away, narrow, but still Evil. They managed to, or rather, Evil they did not manage to hold it out. And Ignite will take their first game of the series.
The exactly